Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to today's episode. We're going to be talking about body recomp in relation to confidence and confidence in the gym and just defining your goal. And I really want to get into what body recomp actually is. We're going to get very thorough in body recomp and muscle definition and the word toned, my thoughts on all of that, the truth on all of that. I really want to talk about this in the Gym Confidence series, which I've been so happy to bring this series to you, and you guys are loving it. So that's amazing. So we talked about the gym terminology as far as reps and sets and things like that. We talked about gym equipment, and we talked about how to put together a workout that is actually very productive in the sense of building muscle and seeing results. Of course, there are so many different ways to build workouts and so many different reasons depending on your goals, but I'm not going to get into that because all of this buildup of what we've been talking about in the previous 3 episodes really come together when we're talking about changing your body and feeling confident in your body, confident in the gym, just confident out in the world. So this is really going to bring it all together, and we're going to be talking about body recomp. It's one of my favorite things to talk about because when I personally discovered what body recomposition is, thinking about changing your body, changing the look of your body, changing the feel of your body, and you are in control of that, when I really realized, okay, what I actually want is to look different, not necessarily, smaller, but not necessarily just small. I want to look strong, and I am in control of building muscle on my body and losing fat on my body. And these specific workouts really help with that. And it just made the world of difference in how I look at food and how I look at my routine and how I look at rest days and how I look at steps and sleep and all of those types of things. And so I really want to dig into body recomp. It's kind of the same as fitness in the sense that it's simple, but it's not easy. It takes a lot of change, like mental change, mindset change, because what we've been fed to believe our whole lives is that skinny is best. You need to weigh a certain amount. You get attached to a certain number on the scale. You get attached to a certain number on your jeans. And that is kind of all that matters sometimes, when in reality, we change how you look and how you feel so much so that the number on your jeans and the number on the scale won't matter as much. And body recomp really, really helped me with this. I also find that so many women that come to me think that they just want to lose weight. The goal is just lose weight, lose weight, lose weight. I don't care how. I don't care what the deficit is. I don't care how much I have to work. None of that is sustainable, by the way. We find that out pretty quickly when they come to work with me. But what you're actually wanting is to change the look of your body. Very rarely does someone come to me and say, I just want to build more muscle and I want to lose fat. Or now they do, actually, because now that I've been talking about body recomp so much on the podcast and social media, and other people have too, of course, I think body recomp is something that is just becoming more talked about. And women are being more vocal about changing your body. And I think that that's really great. If we're really honest with ourselves, you want more than just weight loss. Yeah, the size of your jeans feels great to fit into a certain size. Yes, a certain number on the scale feels amazing. But at the end of the day, what you really want is to feel comfortable in your body and feel confident in your body and in your skin and your routine. It helped me to stop thinking about food all day and thinking about being obsessed with workouts and taking rest seriously. And it changed the game for me. So I really want to dig into body recomp here. It was asked that I share the definition of body recomp, like what the hell is body recomp? But within body recomp, there are different things that I do want to talk about, like maintenance calories. That's really good for body recomp. But what are maintenance calories, right? What does toning actually mean? If I want to look toned, which is usually what people want, what does that actually mean? So let's dive in. Body recomposition, which is the long word for body recomp. A lot of people just say body recomp. Your body composition is literally the makeup of your body. Body recomposition is basically rearranging your body the way that it's built. So it's building muscle while losing fat. When you hear me say body recomp, that's what I'm talking about. If I have a client or myself, if I'm focused on body recomp, what that means is changing the look of my body via building muscle and losing fat. You can do this at the same time, or you can build muscle first and then lose the fat around it later. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Important points here is that body recomp is not always dramatic weight loss. It's not becoming tiny, and it's not fast scale changes. Women that come to me now after listening to the podcast are ready. They're like, I want body recomp. I realize this is going to take a while. I want to learn. I want to become confident. I want to look different and not be obsessed with the scale and fix my relationship with food. And I love that because that's what it really, really takes. So with body recomp, well, in general, you can weigh the same and look completely different because muscle and fat are different tissues. So I say a lot to women when they're really obsessed with the scale. If you had your dream body and you looked at the scale and it still says the number that you don't like, would you care as much? Like, is it only about the scale? Usually no. If you looked in the mirror and you thought, damn, I look so good. These jeans fit me so good. This tank top is really accentuating my arms. I am looking so good. But the number on the scale sucks. Yeah, it might still be like, well, that's not great. But you wouldn't care as much because what you really want is to change your body and feel confident. So inside of body recomp, you can weigh the same. Sometimes the scale doesn't move at all for my ladies. And that usually happens around a certain number on the scale. I'm not going to get into that, but there is a number on the scale that's very, very healthy. But if you're carrying more fat around and you need to get rid of some, and you're carrying less muscle around and you need to build some, you can look completely different within that. So the scale doesn't move as much, but if you can become unattached to the scale, which we work on a lot inside of Fit Club, then it really is helpful to be able to just focus on what you need to focus on for body recomps. Muscle and fat are different tissues. Muscle takes up less space. Muscle changes shape and composition, and muscle creates that toned look that most women want. And we're going to get into that toned look. So if you think about, if you even Google search fat versus muscle, muscle is a little bit longer, it's a little bit leaner, right? It's small and it's very shapely. And then if you look at fat, it's just like a little blob, kind of sitting there. So, but they weigh the same. 1 pound of muscle and 1 pound of fat is actually 1 pound if you were to set it on a scale. But the muscle is smaller. And like I said, more shapely. It's leaner. It's a little sexier. The fat is just, again, kind of a little blob. So if you think about that, your body is going to look different with more muscle than it is with more fat, but the number can kind of stay the same. So what people are usually saying as far as verbiage is, I want to look toned. I want to look like I work out. I want to look toned. So let's talk about toned really quickly because it's a word that I use sometimes. I know the definition of it. I know what it means. And I know what I mean when I say that, but it's hard to say like, I just want to look more muscly. I want to look more muscular. I want to look, right? It's easier to just say, I want to look toned. I want to look lean. I want to look sculpted. I want to look toned. Toned is not a special style of workout. I'm not going to get into the whole, if you see someone selling a toning workout or this is a toning program or do this workout to become toned, what they're saying is that you're going to build more muscle and you're going to lose more fat. So when people are saying toned or lean or sculpted or tight, or fit, like I want to look like I work out, what you're really saying is you want more muscle definition and you want less body fat. But that's kind of a long way to just say it. But essentially, if you want to look toned, you can't do toning workouts. Okay. You have to build muscle and you have to lose fat. It all comes down to body recomposition. So when you think of the word toned, please immediately after think of the words body recomp because they go hand in hand. So you do not create that toned look with endless cardio or starving yourself or doing these detoxes that are out there or using these tiny little pink dumbbells. Yeah, Pilates is great. You can do that in addition to, of course, other things, but you have to be challenging your muscles, which is why we talked about creating the workout programs that will work for you and the reps and the sets and what all of that means inside of the gym, because everything that we've talked about in the last 3 episodes builds up to understanding what it takes to build a toned body, which means you're going to build muscle and lose fat, right? Now, the fat loss usually, well, it's going to come from a mixture of macros and calories in, but it also comes from calories out, whether you're running, whether you're doing some HIIT workouts, whether you are just increasing your step count, things like that. But the physique that you want comes from muscle. If you just lose fat and don't change anything muscularly on your body, you will not have that toned look. So a lot of people, that's where it comes or becomes an issue is I just want to lose weight and be smaller and be leaner, or sorry, be more small, right? I want the number on the scale to be smaller, but I also want to be toned. You can't always have both. You have to also get more muscle on your body. You can't just lose weight and look toned unless you already have muscle on your body. This is why strength training matters, which is why we've talked about everything in the previous 3 episodes. So strength training builds muscle, which shapes the body. It improves strength and confidence. It supports your metabolism, and it helps long-term maintenance. It's so much easier to maintain your body when you have muscle on it because you are just built, is how I just kind of think about it. Like, to maintain my body right now, I could not work out for a couple of weeks and look the complete same because muscle doesn't go away that fast. You build it over time. You don't gain it that fast either, but you build it over time and then it stays there and you can maintain it by eating more. It's truly the best. And I'm not going to get into all of that, but we also have to get away from this mentality with strength training that lifting weights makes women bulky. And this was something that I used to think about a long time ago. I've talked about this in the podcast where I said I would never use a squat rack and I'd never use a really heavy barbell because I didn't want to look bulky. I didn't want to look manly. Well, that's not really how it works. Muscle takes time to build. You're not going to build too much muscle on accident ever. And never, ever in the history of anywhere has someone built too much muscle on accident. You might build too much muscle, or you might build muscle and have too much fat on your body at the same time, or gain fat on top of the muscle. But gaining muscle is never the problem because you can't really do that on accident. It takes a lot of work. Most women are under muscled and not too muscular. And it's really hard to become too muscular. And honestly, once you get used to building muscle, you're going to love it. You're going to want more. Social media has definitely distorted our expectations. I have to just say that because I feel like social media can distort your expectations in one way or another. You see people doing something and you think I have to do that to get the body that I want, not knowing that maybe they've already built muscle for 3 years and now they're running and now they're doing Pilates and now they're doing yoga, but they didn't get the body that they want. You don't get a quote unquote toned, muscular, fit, lean, sculpted body by running, not only by running. Okay. So you have to be able to put together workouts, understand this stuff, and be confident in the gym or be confident in your own gym at home to be able to understand how this body recomp thing works. Another thing I want to define is maintenance calories. And the reason that I want to talk about maintenance calories in reference to body recomp is because you can't always be dieting if you want to change your body composition. If you want to grow muscle and you want to lose fat, meaning body recomposite, or you want to change your body composition, you have to eat at maintenance calories. So maintenance calories are the amount of food that your body needs to maintain your current weight. So maintenance calories will maintain the current weight that you are at. You have calories that you are consuming and you have calories that you're outputting. So you are eating food and fuel all day long. And then you are also moving all day long, whether that be lifting weights or walking or running or whatever it is. Those two things together are what creates your maintenance, that's what creates your current body. So maintenance calories are, like I said, that's what it actually means, is the amount of calories that it takes to maintain your current body within the weight that you are currently and within the weight that you are eating your maintenance calories at. You can change your body fat and you can change your muscle mass. So if you're coming to me at 150 pounds and you're saying, all I want to do is lose weight, if you've been starving yourself, it's going to be really hard to do that, because if you're only eating 1,200 calories and you want to lose weight, now you've got to eat 1,000 calories, because if you've been maintaining your body weight at 1,200 calories, That's what your body uses to maintain your current weight. Now you have to eat less than that to be able to lose weight. But I don't really want to talk about that. I want to talk about it in terms of body recomp, but I just wanted to bring that up because a lot of people are thinking, I'm not eating much right now, but I'm also not losing any weight. And that's because if you're not eating much and you're maintaining your weight, that means your body is using all those calories, and it's not very many, to maintain your body. So instead, you can think about it this way. If you weigh 150 pounds and you come to me and you say, I want to change the look of my body, and you're sitting at a high body fat and a low muscle mass percentage, and we swap that, we start eating more and we start lifting weights and sculpting your body and changing the way that your body looks. And then, yeah, couple months, well, I shouldn't even say that, 6 to 8 months to a year later, you now have a high muscle mass percentage and a low body fat percentage. You might still be sitting at 150 pounds, but since you've changed your muscle mass and your fat percentages, you're going to look completely different. And you will love the number on the scale. You'll be like, yeah, I actually like this. I'm eating a lot. I look great. I feel great. My hormones are amazing. My metabolism is balanced. I'm not restricting all the time. 150 is actually great. I love this weight. And so instead of having higher fat, less muscle mass, thinking, oh, 150 is so terrible, or 160, 170, 180, 200, whatever it is, right? But if you're sitting at higher muscle mass and a lower body fat percentage, you're going to feel differently about that number. So you can maintain your body weight, but you can change the composition of your body within that body weight by shifting your muscle mass and your body fat percentage. I know that's a little confusing, but stick with me here. So this is not always weight gain. It's not always letting yourself go, and it's not failure. So if you are at maintenance calories and you're trying to maintain the number on the scale because it's a healthy weight, because you are learning how to eat more, because you're having some food freedom, because you are really changing the way that you are viewing your body, it's not letting yourself go to not lose weight. It's fine, because body recomp is not quick weight loss, because quick weight loss only results in quick weight gain when you stop doing whatever diet that you're doing, right? So to be able to change your body composition, to be able to achieve body recomp, you have to eat at maintenance calories most of the time, which I've been doing for the last probably 5 years pretty much. I do go in a slight build and I do go in a slight cut every so often. But maintenance is just the absolute best phase for your body to be in. Truly, it's where your body thrives. It's where you will sleep well. It's where you will have more energy. It's where you will feel the best. So that's what maintenance calories is. I wanted to make sure to explain that. Just the amount of calories that your body takes to maintain your current weight. And that's not always a bad thing. If I say, hey, you're probably not going to lose weight in the next 6 months, we're going to reverse diet you. We're going to get you to eat more. We're going to start lifting weights. We're going to start gaining strength. We're going to start changing the look of your body. You're going to see muscles. You're going to see muscle definition. You're going to feel so good. And on the SMART scale that I'm going to have you purchase, you're going to see your muscle mass go up and your fat percentage go down. Maybe the overall body weight number doesn't change much, but you won't care because you will see so many other numbers that will be changing. We defined body recomposition, we defined maintenance calories, and now I want to go into a calorie deficit to make sure that you completely understand what that means. This is a word that is thrown around social media so much. The only way to lose weight is a calorie deficit. So a calorie deficit means eating less than your body burns. So if you're tracking your calories throughout the day and whatever activity you're doing during the day, whatever tracker you're using, I use my Oura Ring, it tells me how many calories I burned that day. If I'm consuming less than I burned, I will lose weight. That is the only way to lose weight. It's not always that simple though, and this may be a topic for another conversation because this one I really want to keep on body recomp so that we are just really focused on that, because calorie deficit is going to take a lot of food work, macro tweaking, things like that. So that may be a different episode. If you want me to talk more about calorie deficit, go into Spotify, leave me a comment and say, yes, preach about calorie deficit, girl. But for now, I'm going to kind of get back to body recomp. But calorie deficit, like you can't just, like I said, if you're only eating 1,200 calories and you want to lose weight and your only choice then is to eat 1,000 calories, it's not going to work, because how are you going to live on 1,000 calories a day for the rest of your life? You're not. Your only option is to start eating more, start moving more intentionally, start building muscle to get the body you want. And if you really, really want to change your body recomposition, this is a non-negotiable. But calorie deficit is very important to wrap your head around. And I kind of want to talk about that in body recomposition, because there is an option where you have a muscle building phase, which is what we do in Fit Club and what I do every fall and winter. I build muscle very, very slowly. So I go into a calorie surplus where I eat more calories than my body burns so that I can build muscle. Along with that, I am putting on a little bit of fat. After I do that for a while, I go into a calorie deficit. So now I'm eating less than my body is burning. But a couple things to kind of keep in mind here is that smaller deficits are more sustainable. You don't necessarily want to go up to 12 or 2,500 calories and then instantly cut 500 calories and go to 2,000 calories. Cutting 500 calories off of your daily amount is a lot, especially if you haven't built up to 2,500. If you're only sitting at 1,800 calories and you want to go into a really steep calorie deficit, 1,300 calories is a lot. So I love a more sustainable route. I talked on the podcast before about increasing or decreasing your calories by 50 calories per week. And that can come from whichever macro makes the most sense for you. I do this in my app a lot for clients. I'll say I'm ready to go into a cut, and I'll say, okay, I'm going to go into the app and I'm going to decrease your calories by 50. And then I want you to check in with me next week and let me know how you're feeling. If you're feeling good and the scale moved, we'll keep you there. If you're feeling like you need to cut some more, we'll do that. But smaller deficits are usually more sustainable. Aggressive dieting often backfires, and I think that we all know that. I don't think I need to expand on that. If you've ever done an aggressive diet where you cut out every carb and every sugar and every calorie that you love, has that ever worked for you long term? Absolutely not. You probably gained the weight back, and then you probably gained some. So that's enough about that. And then under eating does hurt your recovery and your muscle building. I have clients all the time that will go into a muscle building phase, will put on a couple pounds of muscle, and then they'll go into a very deep cut where let's say we reverse them 300 calories. They're eating more now. So let's say you come to me eating 1,500 calories per week. We get you up to 1,800. You're building some muscle. You're feeling really great. You don't ask me and you just go right back down to 1,500. Your body is going to take some muscle. You're going to lose some muscle doing that. And that sucks, because now your body's not recovering well. Your body's like, hello, what happened to those 300, 500 calories you just gave me? What's going on? And yeah, you'll lose some fat, and yes, you'll lose some inflammation and some water weight, but you'll also lose some muscle. And when you're in an aggressive calorie deficit, you can't build muscle. So if you're under muscled already, you don't want to be in a calorie deficit. So those are just a couple things I wanted to talk about as far as a calorie deficit, because in body recomp, you can go into a build phase and then go into a calorie deficit. I would rather it take a couple of years for you to build the body you love and do it correctly. Very small increments up and very small increments down as far as muscle and fat, because I don't want this to be about starving yourself. Body recomposition is all about getting trust with your body, showing your body that you're in control. You're going to give it what it needs so it can also give you what you want in return. And I think that that's really, really important. Another thing I want to touch on is in body recomp, beginners often do see faster results. And this is because beginners are often able to build muscle and lose fat at the same time more efficiently. For example, I talk about when I first started body recomp. When I first decided, okay, I'm not chasing fat loss anymore. I'm actually too skinny at this point because I've been dieting and doing Beachbody programs for far too long now. And this is not sustainable, and I don't want to do this anymore. So I realized I actually want bolder shoulders, which I still don't have. And I want big legs. I want to look muscular. So what I actually need to do is build muscle, and I need to probably not even lose fat. At the current time, I did not need to lose fat. All I needed to do was build muscle. So I took out my extra steps. I didn't run at all. All I did was eat more and lift weights so that I could build. And that was only because I wasn't a beginner. I was not. My body was already primed, and it was like, you've been starving me. I don't know what is going on, but we're not losing any more fat. It's not happening. I was able to build muscle fast because I did the right things, but my body was very primed. I couldn't go into a body recomp phase where I just lost fat and build muscle at the same time because I didn't have fat to lose because I wasn't a beginner. If someone comes to me again within like the 150 to 180 pound mark, you're gonna, I actually, no, that's not true. 150 pounds, you may not see aggressive fat loss quickly. If you're like 170 to 200 pounds, you're probably gonna see the scale move a little bit faster as far as weight loss, as far as fat loss. But in terms of body recomp, yes, if you are within 140 to 170, and even up to 200, you are going to see body recomp changes faster than someone who's really small or even on the really large end. Because if you have more weight to lose, then you're going to lose weight faster than you build muscle. If you're smaller, for me, I was like way too small and underfueled, underfed. I wasn't going to lose any fat, but all I could do was build muscle. If you are right in the middle and you're a beginner, you are going to see fantastic results with body recomp because you will notice the muscle gain and you will notice the fat loss. Like your body will just change, but it almost has to be that prime weight, overall weight, body weight on the scale, because you have to be able to see physically. And that's what I mean. Beginners are going to see that fat loss more so if you have more fat to lose. Beginners are going to also see that muscle gain faster if you don't have fat to lose and you only have muscle to gain. But in body recomp perspective, if you are between that range of body weight, you really are going to see the changes really fast, especially if you have a smart scale because your body it's all new. So if you start feeding your body more, your body's going to put it towards muscle building. And if you start eating more protein and get your macros really on target, you're going to start losing fat and you're going to see it happen really quickly. But if you are more advanced and you already have more muscle and less fat, or if you're not in that realm at all and you've never even done this before, but you have either more muscle to gain or more fat to lose, you're going to see progress a little bit slowly. That kind of sucks in terms of even me sometimes seeing people just start lifting weights and they gain muscle so fast on the smart scale. And I'm like, Jesus, I've been killing it in the gym over here and my muscle mass goes up so incrementally, but it's because I already have a solid base. So it's like those newbie gains and, it's like beginner's luck, maybe. I'm a little bit jealous, but also, I mean, when you think about it, training is a new stimulus and anything that your body is not used to, it's going to respond to in a way that is really good. And it's also exciting. And sometimes when you're a newbie at this, you're really excited and you really stick to your macros and you really start lifting heavy. And that can also help too. Your body's just going to adapt really, really quickly. But it's very important to start with something that you can be consistent with, because if not, then those new wins are going to quickly turn into plateau, and you're going to feel a little stuck. So I hope that makes sense in there as far as the body weight. That's just what I've seen between that range, more of like a 140 to 170. That's a lot of the scale staying the same, but muscle mass going up and body fat going down. That happens really quickly. Like I said, if you are at a smaller weight, I have women come to me all the time that are 120 pounds and they need to put on some weight and put on some muscle. That takes a little bit more time because we want to put on muscle, not a ton of fat. So we have to eat more and lift smarter. And the same thing with if you have more weight to lose and you have a large amount of weight to lose, and you also have a large amount of muscle to put on, that's fine. It's totally fine. You're just not going to see it as fast as someone who's right in the middle. So then you will want to focus on more fat loss while also adding muscle. So yeah, but beginner's luck is kind of a thing in the body recomp world. So what actually creates body recomp, I want to move on to talking about this really quickly. It's super simple, okay? To change the look of your body, to change the composition of your body, you need to strength train. Progressive overload, consistency, and enough intensity. Protein intake supports your muscle growth and recovery, and most women undereat protein. So get your fucking protein up. Put that on a shirt. Recovery, sleep, stress management, and rest days. Very important. Also, take a rest day. Maybe I need to put all these on the back of my shirt. Eat your protein and take your rest days. And then nutrition consistency. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to do a detox. You don't need to start over every Monday. Just be so consistent with your nutrition. It literally does not matter. I've decided that the next time I have a guest on the podcast, every guest going forward, I should say every client of mine that comes on as a guest, I'm going to ask, how often do you actually hit your macros 100%? Because it's very, very rare. Okay. So just be very good with those things: strength training, protein intake, recovery, and nutrition consistency. That is how you can be sure to see some body recomp. Also, I want you to have some very realistic expectations when it comes to body recomposition. Body recomposition is slower. It is more sustainable. It's less dramatic on a week-to-week average, but a month average, if you get out your smart scale and you look from week to week, it's not that big. You're not going to gain muscle very quickly. You're not going to lose fat very quickly or body weight very quickly when your goal is body recomp, because it has to be built through consistency. And honestly, it just takes a while. Like I actually love that. Like I love that it takes a while. I've talked about that on previous episodes. I like things to go slow because it means that it leaves more room for error. It means that I can give myself more grace. I can eat a little bit more. I can take some rest days. Like I can chill the fuck out. I don't need to be so stressed out all the time. I love that. And I think that that's just having a realistic expectation. It's also shifting your mindset. We're not thinking about becoming smaller. We're thinking about changing the look of our body. If you think about, I want to lose weight, that could happen quickly if you starve yourself 100%. And that's kind of what we're used to. If you're doing a detox all the time and you're cutting out all the foods you love all the time, well, of course you're going to lose some weight. But is that really all you want, is to lose weight and never eat the foods you love again? I don't think it is. So if we're realistic about what we want, which is our bodies to different, look good, look strong, look fit, look tone, then what we're going to have to do is literally change the makeup of your body. And if you think about that, it's going to take a while, and it's fine. It should. This is your body. You have one life. Okay. You're going to be spending it doing something, and it might as well be treating your body well and becoming stronger and becoming healthier and improving your metabolism and your hormones, like literally giving a shit about your health. That's kind of what body recomp feels like to me. I'm not trying to starve myself. I'm not trying to put myself into terrible health conditions where my nervous system is always stressed out because I don't eat enough and I don't sleep enough and I don't walk enough, right? Like we're always on edge about something. And I feel like body recomp just helps me to be put into that place of, today's a rest day. I have to hit my 10,000 steps. That's all I have to do today. Take a deep breath and go do it, right? Today's a training day. We are training upper body. We're training full body. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to lift as heavy as I can. I'm going to maybe get on the treadmill and get in some extra steps because I'm here and I have to hit my 10,000 steps either way. And that's it. I'm hitting steps. I'm drinking water. I'm eating protein, and I'm lifting weights. Like it just makes it so simple. And if you just cut out all the bullshit around what I look like and, you know, what the scale says and what the genes say on the number or on the tag, then it becomes like just so much more real and really beneficial for you. So I really hope that in terms of body recomp, I really hope that this was helpful. I hope that the whole gym confidence series was helpful. I really obviously want to unfuck your fitness. Like that's my whole goal with obviously this podcast and with the work that I do. I want to unfuck your fitness. And part of that is explaining to you what reps and sets are and what the gym equipment is and how this all works, how to build a workout so that if you want to change your body, you don't have to spend time doing 13 exercises that literally do nothing for your body. I think it's very important to know what a hinge movement is, what a squat movement is, that you are, you know, stretching out the muscle fibers and really working your muscles while you're in the gym. And then you go rest them a few days later so that they can actually recover and grow. I think it's really important to talk about that. And I think it's really important for you to know that, because otherwise you don't know it. Therefore, you don't feel confident doing it. You don't feel confident in what you're doing. So I think this is just the best of all the things. Talking about body recomp, we talked about calorie deficits. We talked about maintenance calories. We talked about toned and why that's not a thing, but how to actually get toned if you want to. So just kind of understanding all of this. I think it's also good to where I spent a little time talking about the weight ranges, where if women come to me, please, on Spotify, if you are a client of mine in Fit Club and I have said to you, you are in a weight range. Actually just had a call the other day with a client, a Fit Club client, where I said, you are in a weight range that is very good. Your overall weight is very healthy for your age and for your height. So that number is not going to move quickly. It's just not. You are going to have to spend very little time thinking about the weight on the scale moving. You're going to have to focus on muscle mass and protein and drinking water and resting and sleeping. It's just different. And I've said that to so many women. So I would love for you to put that in the comments. Truly, truly go to the comments so that everyone can see that I'm not lying when I say if you are in a specific weight range, it's not impossible. It's actually very, very possible. But if you're only thinking, I want that number to be smaller, that's the problem. It's not going to be smaller anytime soon. It may not ever be smaller if you are within the smaller amount of that. If you are like at 140, 150 pounds for a grown ass woman, okay, that is a good number. Like even bigger than that, depending on like the number being bigger than that. If you are tall, if you have muscle tone, we're just built differently. Okay. I'm 5'3" and I'm a tiny little bean if I don't work for it. There are a lot of people that are built so much differently than me. And it's just that comparison or just being obsessed with that number on the scale instead of what can I do with this body? How can I build muscle? How can I lose fat? How can I look strong and healthy, right? How can I look toned? Keep using that word because it's your favorite, but truly. So I think it was very important to spend some time there along with saying, hey, if you are under 140 pounds, you really need to put on some muscle. You probably need to put on a little fat. If you are over and up in like 200 pounds, you're probably needing to put on some muscle as well as losing some fat faster. So it's just going to look different for everyone. Body recomp it's so awesome because in body recomp, you are losing fat and you are building muscle, or you're only building muscle, or you're only losing fat. But eventually, like you could be in a phase where you're only building muscle or a phase where you're only losing fat. But eventually you're going to be doing both, and you can do them at the same time or you can do them separately. That's a personal preference. I have also had, sorry, I'll stop rambling soon and wrap this up, but I have also had conversations with women who say, I want to build muscle and then I want to lose fat. Like I want to do it separately because I feel like it's going to take too long. People have said, I've heard on the internet, you can't lose fat and gain muscle at the same time. It's impossible to do that, or it takes too long to do that. No, it's very possible to do that. It's very possible to gain muscle and lose fat at the same time. I've done it. I'm currently doing it and my clients do it all the time. So you can't tell me that that's not possible. Also, if you do a build phase for 12 weeks and then you do a cut phase for 12 weeks, that's 24 weeks. One is obsessively building, not bad. And then one is obsessively cutting, also not bad because we're going to do it in a very good and respectful way. But you could also just use that 24 weeks that you're going to use to build and then cut to eat at maintenance, not have to stress about, am I over calories? Am I under calories? Where exactly am I at? You have your calories, you get used to them, and you eat very similarly, right? For 24 weeks. The time is going to pass anyways. So whether you choose to body recomp, meaning build muscle, lose fat at the same time, or whether you choose to build muscle in a phase and then lose fat in a phase, it really doesn't matter. And when I said obsessive, I don't mean in a bad way. To be obsessed with, I really want to do this. Well, I really want to build some muscle. That's not a bad thing. Okay. To obsessively track your macros and think, I really want to fuel my body well and build muscle. That's not bad. But I kind of, for me, obsessive is a good thing. Like I take it like I'm going to be obsessed about this. I'm going all in. I am locked the fuck in right now. I'm going to be obsessive about this because I want my body to change. So I'm not saying that in a bad way at all. I think a lot of people take the word obsessive as a negative connotation, but that's not how I mean it. But either way, however you want to do it, wherever your starting place is, you can change the look of your body. And that is exactly what body recomposition means. I digress. I could get a little heated there, But I am really excited because in next week's episode, I'm going to talk about the scale fluctuations and how this can kind of mess with your head a little bit, as I was just talking about the scale and how that works. So I want to dive more into that next week so that I'm not just kind of leaving you hanging there. So I'm really excited about that episode. It will not be part of the gym confidence series because I feel like we're moving out of that, but I feel like a really good transition. I wanted to talk more about that in this episode, as you can tell, because that mindset piece is really huge to body recomposition, but I'm just going to move it to the next episode so that it can be a whole thing in itself. Because I know the scale can be problematic sometimes. But in the meantime, if you would do me a favor and share this episode on your social media, and then if you could send it to a friend that is obsessed with the scale and maybe needs a little body recomposition, that would be great. Also, be sure to send me questions. I need to do a Q&A soon. So in Spotify, send me your questions. I think that would be great. Don't just DM them to me because I lose them. I'll ask on my Instagram stories in a certain question box for questions, but for now, leave them on Spotify in the comments because I do need to do a Q&A episode soon. So I really hope that was helpful, and I'll talk to you guys next week.